Hello and welcome to Delight and Fright. I am Kat, and to my side is the lovely Luna.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest with us today. We have Raul Toledo. He is a director. He does edit. He works for the editorial department, so he does a lot of editing and producing. And we're going to talk about his little shorts called. One of them is called Handshakes by Blue Horizon Inc. So it's a great analog horror, and he also does surrealism horror as well. So we're very excited to talk with Raul and see about what he's done in the past and what he's got coming up for us. Welcome, Raul.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's so
Yeah.
fun.
So
It's
my
the first time that I'm talking about this series. So it's exciting.
Woo.
Yeah,
I kind of wanted to ask something not related to horror, but I
of
think
course.
it would be good. What part of Mexico are you from? I checked out your website and you are Mexican. So let's
Yes.
and I'll tell you why I'm asking.
Mhm. I'm originally from Mexico City, so like right in the center of Mexico City. I was there for about until I was 12. That's where I grew up. That's where I went to like elementary school and all that stuff. And from there, I actually ended up in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I was there for 9 years. Went to high school, college, and then eventually landed here in Los Angeles, back in Los Angeles.
Ooh,
Hmm.
awesome. You're a chilango. I was
Yes,
born chilango. That's a term that we refer to for anybody that lives in Mexico City, other Mexicans. So,
yes,
just a
yes,
little
indeed.
just a little cultural thing for you, Ken, and for the other viewers, that may not be familiar with the term, but I'm actually from Guadalajara, Jalisco, very similar
Oh, no
to
way.
yeah, similar to Guillermo del Toro. We were probably
Yes.
born in the same hospital, so that's always that's always cool to have bragging rights about. Hey,
That's awesome.
I
That's
was
so
born
cool.
I was born probably in the same town and in the same hospital. I don't know, it's cool. But I can relate to that. I was born there, was there for up to 6 years, and then I
Mhm,
came to LA,
mhm.
and I'm currently in Florida.
Oh, nice. That's
I was
awesome.
in LA till I was about 26,
Mhm.
roughly
Okay. Yeah.
25, somewhere around there. So yeah.
So you feel like LA is like home, or Mexico is home, or like Florida is home?
Not Mexico or Florida because they've been so short. Since
Mhm.
my life in LA was like 20 years there. So
Yeah.
that's been most of my chunk of my time.
I was asking just because even though I spent like 12 years in Mexico, that's where I grew up. Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania for me, even though I wasn't there still a little, it still feels like home. Like so, like whenever I talk about like going back home, it's like, oh, I'm going back to Pittsburgh, just because those were, I guess, the formative years of like, yeah, that's where I went to high school, that's where I went to college. But I still carry very much,
Your Mexican
Mexico,
roots.
and
Yeah.
yeah, the Mexican heritage. It's like one of those things where like I am removed enough from Mexico where if I go back, people will be like, yeah, you're like you
Mhm.
feel Americanized. But if I anywhere in the states, I
They're
still
like,
will. They're like, you're not, not that,
you
you're still like Mexican and foreign and
yeah, you're not American.
yes.
We have a commenter saying, Viva Mexico. Oh my God, Kayla coming in. Oh, by the way, your camera got super blurry. The analog horror got you.
The animal horror got me.
Woo! We're already starting with the creepy distortion and stuff. Awesome. So that's great.
so Pittsburgh has a pretty big horror community though, doesn't it? I've
It
always wanted to
does.
visit.
No, it does. It's like it's where we're one of the biggest things that we learn about it. That's where the first zombie movie got like
Hmm.
filmed. So it's always such a big point of like conversation like in film school and stuff like that, because I went to a film school in Pittsburgh. It's like, you guys know, first zombie movie here in Pittsburgh.
The
Nickel,
mall.
yeah, yeah, like the Nickelodeon right down the street. Um, so I feel. Pittsburgh has such a good connection with horror. Like maybe it doesn't feel so advertised, but to me, so it has always has this like sense of just.
And you got the Tom Savini school out there too as well, right?
I'm not actually familiar with that.
It's a makeup studio. So
Oh,
it's all
okay,
like
yeah.
horror creature effects type dealio. He actually did the first zombie, well, not zombie, head explosion that was just phenomenal. He worked on Dawn of the
Ooh.
Dead and stuff like that. So it's just an amazing artist. If you get a chance, stop by his studio or check it
Yes,
Yes,
out.
yes, yes, yes.
it's in Monessen, Pennsylvania. I just looked it up.
Okay. I did not know that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, just full of horror.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a great makeup effect program there in his school. So you can learn all about doing makeup if that's what you want to do in the movie industry.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to any horror conventions out there? Or you just haven't
Not
got a chance?
I haven't got a chance to go to many horror conventions over there, unfortunately. My descent into what I will call my descent into horror. It started right after I left Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I've always been a fan of horror from the very beginning. Like I remember watching The Babadook and like being the first movie the first movie that I could not watch with the lights off because as a kid I was always like I don't get scared. Um, so it was until I left Pennsylvania that I really started digging back up into like horror and like doing horror and like just watching more horror. So I never had a chance to go to a horror convention down in Pennsylvania. But it's now in my books. It's now in my books.
Yay. When you go, we'll meet you there. Right, Luna?
Yes.
Yeah, so I actually have a friend that goes to the Monroe mall every year. They do they do a convention there. Usually have a lot of heavy hitters that go there for and especially zombie movie stuff. They go there and yeah. I'm very much interested in checking out that convention. A lot of cool people are always down there, and I always get to see on social media, and I'm like living it through them. But one of these days, you know.
Yes.
I did want to ask you in regards to getting a little bit into the craft that is analog horror,
Mhm.
and kind of the uncanny lo-fi. So right now we live in an age where we have 4K resolution, 8K resolution. Why do you think grainy, low resolution VHS filter is more effective at creating dread than a high budget CGI, for example?
Ooh, I tell you personally why for me it creates a lot more scare inside. It's because of a lot more of it is left to my imagination. When I'm watching a movie that it's highly produced and it's like the effects are great, everything is great. Um, a lot of it is just very clear, very sharp. 4K, it's like super sharp. You're seeing it. But for me at least, when I watch all VHS tapes, all VHS horror movies, and I think that's one of the main appeals of analog horror is a lot of it just ends up being in the imagination of people because everything is so blurry and you cannot make it out exactly what it is. I think Skinamarink, it's one of those great examples of like the monster is never really, like that's, I think that's one of the best movies that explains to me why analog horror is so efficient. It's because a lot of it is just not there. And it's about what you kind of see in the crush shadows and like the graininess. And like maybe that grain is forming a face, but it's maybe just your head making that illusion of a face in the background. And I think that is why analog horror tends to kind of become very popular and just tend to resonate with a lot of people just because it's a lot of them themselves put in what they're afraid of into that piece that they're watching.
I completely agree, Raul. It's more raw. It feels more
Mhm.
authentic to me, and it's definitely practical effects best friend. And that's what
Yes.
we want. We don't want that digital gore and all that garbage. So those of us who, I'm going to show my age here, who, started a little longer in technology and things like that, we can kind of see how it's evolved. And the newer stuff, sometimes the fake stuff, we can still tell it doesn't feel homey to us, like that, like why we began to love horror, that warm blanket that we wrapped around ourselves. It just feels so disconnected from the
Mhm.
reality of the situation. I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
No, I agree. I very very much agree. I love VHS and I love that texture.
Mhm.
When thinking about Blue Horizons, like the idea came about trying to, I mean, the idea came from a very silly point where, like, I think it would have been funny just to see a cube rotating in space and people trying to figure out what it means. But then from there, it just kind of expanded into what it is, and like VHS seemed to be like a good fit for, because we're talking about the '90s, it's corporate videos, and there is that distance of like it's the past, but it's now, but it could have been. And so like where it's like a kind of retrospective lens, like a
Mhm.
fussy one.
Yeah, and when The Walking Dead first came out, they purposely made it grainy like that, and so many people that had the high def televisions were calling to the companies like, "What's going on here? Why is my feed so crappy?" And I just thought that was hilarious. So it's just a little tidbit there of fun.
I didn't know that. That's so fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, I am gonna agree with both of you on that, and definitely really agree with Raul's point that it leaves more room to the imagination. When they just show you everything and it's all CGI, it's either really good or really bad. Even if it's really good, there's no room for interpretation. It's given to you. When it's really bad, you're focusing on how bad the CGI is, that you're like, ugh. And when there's nothing and you leave it to your imagination, you're like, ooh, what could really be there? So that's super, super interesting, and I do appreciate that. Um, Analog horror, as I know, often relies on what we don't see, like we just talked about. How do you decide exactly when to cut the tape or glitch the audio to let the viewer's imagination do the heavy lifting, Raul?
Ooh, I all of the glitches that we do on Blue Horizons, all of those are manually done, meaning that, so I'm physically shaking the VHS anytime that there is like a glitch or something. I think one of the things that because I love analog horror. Before I made it, I just enjoyed really watching analog horror, and I think one of the things that always like poke me, it's like they would do the glitches in like, specifically to hide something or to like put a scary face or something. And in my head, it was always like, I just want to. Those glitches just kind of happen. They don't have to be scary. They can be scary, but they don't always have to hide something scary. So they feel very purposely not manipulated, but very very purposeful in specific places, which is fine. But I really wanted to do the opposite, where they just kind of happen naturally. So I kind of set a specific, when I want to do a glitch, I kind of know in advance, like this would be a cool part because I know the footage, whatever happens will happen naturally, and whatever glitch will happen, I think it will look cool. So I just kind of pick the places that I feel have the most potential for when something random happens would be cool or scary. Like, especially when we go from transition to transition, from a shot to another shot, that changing on the actual, because I actually put the videos onto VHA tapes, so I know that when I'm moving, it's going to create some sort of weird glitch in between the scenes. It's going to be great. Or whenever a person is just staring into the camera and you move the camera, it just creates that warp. And in top of that, something that I do as well is I re-record the same tape over and over to create degradation of VHS. So that way, later on, that's when my decision making comes. later on, because once I do the glitch, it gets burned into the film over and over and over and over, and creates a glitch that is even more terrifying sometimes. It just gets even more scary. So my decision making later comes into how scary do I want to make it, and the yeah, and then it's I just really love it. I love the just putting it on places where you wouldn't expect.
Do you play with the filters as well? And kind of scratch them up, the filters? Obviously, you don't
I
want to do that to your lids. No, don't do that.
yeah, I try that. Like when we were doing tests at the beginning for it, I actually tried to put a magnet through the tape, to be able to get even more random. I would not have had any control of when those glitches happen if I just put a magnet on it. I tried that, but it didn't work. It was actually very hard to get the magnet to do damage to the VHS, which I was very surprised, because I feel that when I was growing up, that was such an easy thing to happen.
Right? We all saw Fight Club where they like erased all of them super fast with the
Yes.
magnets, and we just believed that.
It's like I feel when I was little, I would did ran a magnet sometime in my VHS, and it ruined something, and I was like, it's easy, and I did it. It was like it's fine. I don't know.
Of course, they probably plated it with something today to
Yes,
stop that from happening, because
I
people were putting
know.
their VHSs on top of their speakers, obviously, which is a magnet, and they were like, "What the fuck?"
Yes.
So I got a question about your writing, Raul.
Mhm.
I was looking through your IMDb, and I was very interested in your short Audition, and it's about social anxiety in which you experience. It's about the films of the shorts about anxiety and fear, and you actually wrote it while you were experiencing social anxiety in Starbucks. I'm always anxious around Starbucks. You know that creepy siren thing. Like calling us to our deaths. So
Yes.
how much of your writing and what you do is pulled from the reality of what we all deal with, and I love too that you mentioned the Babadook, which is all about mental health, and analog
Mhm.
horror Luna mentioned is it's what we don't see, that's what's scary, and that's specifically mental health. So my question is, how much of the mental health aspect do you pull from when you're working with something?
I would say a lot. But before to clarify, for audition, I came up with the initial idea for audition, but it was actually my friend Austin Harvey who wrote, like, took
Oh,
the ideas. I
gotcha.
was like, I want this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. So I had the framework of it.
Gotcha.
But at that time, I wasn't very much of a writer. Uh, so I just like, Austin, please help me take this. But it's still the idea of it came from a place of like this anxiety place, right? Like this. I think I experienced a lot of anxiety coming to the States when I didn't speak any English. Like I spent basically a whole year as non-verbal, but I was very quiet during my first year in high school because I didn't speak any English. I was just listening and listening and listening. It was very, anytime I had to speak to anybody, to a teacher, it was very anxiety inducing. I think over the years, I kind of was able to, I pushed that down a ton. Um, Maybe to not a healthy degree, right? So it was like probably, it was right after probably like mid college and right whenever the pandemic happens and then everybody is stressed about everything. Um, that I think that came back up as a source of inspiration of like, you know, uh, to draw from the shorts that I've made. I think one of the anxieties that I have through the pandemic was like just work qualifications, or just finding a job during the pandemic. I moved to LA during the pandemic, and so I was stuck in a place where I couldn't go anywhere, and I just had to find a job, and the only way to do it was virtually. So it was very non human, compared to what I had experienced before, and that was very anxiety inducing. And I think a lot of the stuff that happened in after that with Blue Horizons was drawn from that corporate anxiety of dealing with people who are very corporate and maybe don't see eye to eye, and now there's this screen, so it's now even more dehumanizing. So there is definitely a lot. I think the more I have make movies, the more I have not relied on it, but definitely tap more into like what am I anxious about right now, and exploring the whys. And when I explore the whys, it's like, oh, I kind of it's kind of like a pseudo, not like full on therapy, but it's like exploring this is cool, and maybe from here I can take a story and figure it out. I'm working on a movie now that it's about apartment hunting, and a lot of it's a lot of it. It's like I just experienced a move, so I'm like drawing from a lot of that now of like, oh yeah, there's a lot of anxieties, and like instead of just making it sad and just sad and anxious, it's like how can I make that funny? Because a lot of those anxiety things, at least for me, they can you know look at it on the other side and be like, oh, it's kind of funny that this happens and the people never show up to show you your apartment, and you have loud neighbors and all that jazz. Yeah.
Absolutely. We got to draw from life, and then we're never alone in any situation we always find. So I love that you pull from that and use that to your advantage.
Yeah. I think every filmmaker ends up doing that at some point. Like I think they just end up, because I think it becomes very personal, and if it's personal to you, then it will be personal to somebody else as well. It's like very human,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. The only reason, Ro, why I didn't have a similar experience as you did coming to the States is because when I came here, I was 6 years old. At 6 years old, you think you're invincible. You don't think about why I have to learn a new language. You're just like, let's go on a plane. I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm 6 years old. I'm gonna play with my dolls and hang out. Like I think if I would have had a similar experience as coming, like, to the States older, I think I would have, had that experience, but I integrated pretty well. I like I said, I moved straight from Mexico to LA, and we had a lot of bilingual students, so we had a lot of teachers that spoke English and Spanish, so that helped me tremendously. But I'm grateful that I didn't have that experience. Now, going into a little bit of the kind of like safety and experiences and stuff like that, why do you think 80s or 90s instructional media, kind of like you did with the handshake, why do you think it's something meant to be helpful and safe, and but it's so inherently terrifying when slightly distorted? Because it a handshake, the video was very instructional and how to be safe, but then you tweak something so small and then becomes like oh god, your hand's gonna blow off or something.
Yes.
I love the powering up. The powering up was great.
I
That was
That was so weird to me. I'm like, oh, what are you doing?
and then wait for the click. I'm like, what?
thank you. No, I got a lot of the early Blue Horizons. They were a collaborate. Like it was not only was a born from just wanted to collaborate with my friends again, like post college. Um, it was a lot of that, but I got to work back with some people that I really, really, really admire, and I love working with. My friend Tyler wrote that episode. Um, I kind of came up to her. I was like, I kind of want to do something with handshakes because this is something like intrinsically like that's very corporate, like who would ask why would you have an instructional video on how to do a handshake? Like it's a lot of my ideas come from that, like what's the silliest thing I can think of, and why is that funny? And like I was thinking about like handshake seems something so primal, so easy, such as like smiling. Like do you really need an instructional video on how to smile? No, you shouldn't, but if you do, why? So like the same thing with the handshake. So I came up with the idea of like, let's make a video about handshakes, and she really just went at it. Like I like that entire thing of like the twist and everything. That was her, and I love every bit of it. um it's I to me it's the things that feel almost human, right? We in corporate life, where a lot of corporate life, and I've done my good share of corporate life, like corporate jobs, they feel like they should bring joy for a lot of the time, and sometimes they don't, and it feels very uncanny. And I think a lot of that has to, a lot of that helps to aid Blue Horizons like uncanniness, where like it feels human, it feels like it should make you feel better, but it's definitely not. It's definitely, it's meant to kind of like turn you away from humanity, from your humanity, you know. And that's sort of kind of helps bring in, I feel that corporateness, it's what helps the horror, because we're in a corporate world, we kind of lose, we could not all the time, but we could lose some of that humanity as we do the task over and over and over and over.
Absolutely. We lose ourselves. We become part of the machine, and that's what's so terrifying as well.
Yes,
Especially what's going on in the world today.
I know. It's like I seen some corporate videos, just they're legit corporate videos. They're just like, what are you what are you talking about? Like this is one of the ones that inspired me the most as I was like doing research. There is this VHS video on not how to be it's a how to be a proper, it was like a churchy video on how to be a proper, like church woman church goer. And like they have this whole section about how they have to sit very specifically, so that way
Be
they're not a
quiet. Be quiet, women.
yeah,
Talking.
but like don't be a distraction to the people in front of you doing this sermon. And then like you have to sit very proper where your skirts, but it's like that just feels so like, and that was a real one. So I was like, what? It feels like it shouldn't be, but it is. And I think that's a lot of Blue Horizons, where like it feels like it shouldn't be real, but like it could be. At this point, it could be.
Mhm.
Oh gosh.
And it's all about control.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think sound design is so important. If your visuals are subpar but your sound is great, you will be people will like kind of forgive you. But if your visuals are good and your audio is crap, people will not forgive you on that.
Yeah.
And it is often more important than the visuals, I feel. So, Raul, how did you use white noise and sounds to trigger a physical response in your audience?
The white noise that you hear throughout the entirety of Blue Horizons, are legit just what came from the recordings. I was very keen on trying to be as authentic as possible, because I felt that people can tell when that very signature VHS noise it's added in after the fact. So I wanted to be very, very, I wanted to use it as a tool to make people feel they were watching something authentic, and also to kind of, there would be moments where like the noise goes out, because that's what would happen sometimes with your VHS when you will unplug a cable, or when you were recording something on your VHS on your camera, you press pause, or you did the fade, and the sound kind of stops a little bit. So I tried to use the white noise that came with the VHS, and just to make it feel real, to make it feel the most authentic it could be. I think that was one of my most sought out goals with Blue Horizons, to make it feel as legit as possible. Um, and white noise just ate it with that. It kind of was able to blend every single sound effect that we added after the fact, like during post, before we ran it through the VHS. It just kind of made everything just feel warm and together, and made the goal of making it feel as the most authentic it could possible.
I'm curious, did you play with the aux cable, like have it half hanging
I
out?
did.
Or like, yeah,
I did.
I knew
I
it.
did.
Nice.
I really did. There's an episode. There is an episode where I the last one we did, which was what about the last one we did, a prevention, where there's a moment where I realized that there was a specific line that I was like, I don't really want to say that, but like we shot it and like I couldn't really edit it at that point, so I was like, well, what if I just take out the cable and went, boop. And it's like, oh, look at that, it worked. So yes, and it makes it
Just
feel so
one way to
authentic.
do anything.
Yeah, it just makes it feel so authentic, and just that white noise. I mean, many people sometimes use it to fall asleep as well.
Mhm.
Just like I've seen like 10-hour videos of like VHS noise for 10 hours. It's just
Or to
comforting.
drown out your husband snoring. Comes in handy. I highly recommend it.
That's funny.
So, Raul, how does I saw that you worked on horror noir? Did I say that
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
How does your editing process vary when you're working with a full length feature versus something like horror noir, where there's different stories yet in the same feature?
Yes. I was so what I do as my what I like to call what I do as my day job is I'm an assistant editor. So I'm assistant editing, which what that means, if you think about a chef, if you think about the chef is the editor. An assistant editor would be like the sous chef, where they're aiding the chef to put the meal together. So for horror noir, I was an assistant editor. That was very fun. That was really fun to do because it was 6 different segments, and normally on a show you would have like multiple, like 3 people, 2 or 3 people doing that, like doing for a specific just one show. Um, but for this, for a good section of it, it was just myself. So I was dealing with a lot of just me prepping it for the editors, and we had 2 different editors. So what the difference for me was assisting the editors on a from a feature to something like this, like it was like an anthology series, is the change in you gotta switch from episode to episode, and it's not like on a regular TV show, the episodes do kind of go together in the sense that there's a storyline going through. So you kind of get you don't exit too much of the world as you jump from episode to episode. But for horror noir, it was like every episode is very different, and every episode has a very specific vibe. So every episode you have to, whether whether you, I was doing a sound design pass, like a temp the sound design pass for an episode. It's like I have to switch my gears into like, what is this? This is about vampires. It's like, what is this? This is about cannibals. It's like the sounds are different. The way to, you're making like mini movies every single day, and you're just switching back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, just trying to remember which movie you're on and what's the tone of that and what is like the goals. So to kind of condense it down, it's just a difference of like you're able to live on a work for longer on a feature or in a TV show, and for horror noir it was just like every single one was very different. So every single one you had your own little world, and you just have to be able to adapt to like switching from this to that to this to that to possession to eating people to just religious, what was it? It was like religious cultism.
Yeah.
Um, so
So you got
it
a
was
lot of
fun.
experience just on one feature, right?
It was a lot of fun, because it was a great place to just kind of try many things. There was one that deal with like water, so we did a lot of water work in the sound design. So how do you make something feel scary with just water? What is the signature to like make people who are watching that movie feel like, oh, that water feels scary? Or how do you make a house feel scary? So it was like I would say it felt like a boot camp of just sound design for specifically horror movies.
Nice. But well
Mhm.
done. I
Thank
thought
you.
it was great. I enjoyed all the features. My favorite was the vampire because it was close near and dear to my heart. I'm obsessed with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So
Oh,
and then of
nice.
course the one with Tony Todd was amazing because it's Tony Todd. I mean,
Yes, yes, it is.
All right, Raul, I'm gonna throw a hot one at you, and I'm gonna ask you to improvise. Okay.
All right.
So in tape 12, educated eye contact. You mentioned that in there. I'm gonna ask you to
Yeah.
describe what would have been on that tape. Um, you haven't even made yet, but what would be on that tape?
What would be on educated eye contact? On educated eye contact.
Tape 12.
Tape 12. 12, 12 educated eye contact. There is I'm trying to decide how much to reveal because there is a tape. There is like a specific amount of tapes. Just there's only enough there. There's only a few that get put out there.
mm,
Um, right? So for educated eye contact, I would say that what is when you are in a meeting, you have to maintain good eye contact with your higher ups, with your supervisors, right? Yeah, extremely. So maybe that causes your eyes to be a little dried up. So maybe there's ways to keep your eyes not dry through, an 8 or 9 hour meeting where it would be very disrespectful to not to blink if
Oh,
you're higher up. It's because you're taking your attention away from them, and like every second counts. What if you're not paying attention? All right, so maybe there's certain devices that are used in meetings where help your eyes stay hydrated. um yeah. And and what is eye contact for just you know touching your eye, like I have such a weird thing about eyes that
me too. Me too.
it's just like, ugh. We got this really good prop for that specific bit though, where it's a really 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 realistic eye that we got made. Um, it's scary. It's like, oh, these are. Ugh. I I have a memory when I was a little kid that I don't know if I was just a silly kid, but I would look at the mirror and be like, what's like my eye? So I would touch it because I don't know, bored. But I remember, yeah, I remember just touching my eye and be like, that feels weird, and it scared me. And if I didn't like how it felt, and then ever since then, I'd be like, I don't like eyes. I touch mine, it's like gross. Um, so
I
yeah,
think it's
tape
about
12.
the being the windows to the soul, right? That's kind of the creep
Yes.
factor for me. I'm like, ugh.
Oh no.
It's a weird movie that I was like, ah, I had a hard time. It's called The Eye. It's Jessica Alba. She's a violinist. She has to have a cornea transplant and has
Oh.
has disturbing visions. And
Oof.
that movie petrified me. I don't
I
like
can
things with
imagine.
eyes either. Anytime the Final Destinations came on and there was like an eye scene, I'm like, just turn it off real quick,
There
look away.
was. Do you know what La Rosa de Guadalupe is?
Of
I've heard of it.
course.
Right. Yeah. So the La Rosa de Guadalupe, it's
How do you
I guess it's technically a soap opera. Technically.
it's a soap opera where people there's like every episode is different, right? It's not like a typical soap opera where you follow the same people. It's kind of like a sitcom or some no, it's not even a sitcom because sitcoms like the same people. It's just different people every episode, and something happens to them, and
Hmm.
then the Virgin Mary comes out, and it's like karma, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
And
Virgin
like
Mary
and
just
like
yeah.
it's a classic. The before La Rosa, like same concept, La Rosa de Guadalupe. That's like the newer version. There was an older version of something similar. I can't remember the name of it, but what I remember is they had one episode where there were these two like children from elementary school, and they're fighting for a pencil. They're like fighting for a pencil, and this is how the episode ends. And petrified me. They're fighting for the pencil. The bully kid lets go of the pencil, and the good kid stabs himself with the eye with the pencil, and he's like, my eye, and like has the like the thing sticking out of the eye, and then the mom comes in and like has to take it to the hospital. I don't remember what the show is. I just remember that, and I've been also that in combination with me touching my eye. I was like, nope, no more eyes.
Yeah, I cannot wear contacts for the life of me. I tried one time. I got contacts and it took me like 45 minutes to get one contact in.
No.
As soon as I got it in, it felt like sandpaper in my eye. I'm like, nah, I can't do
Oh,
this. It just felt like sandpaper rubbing on my eye, and I'm like, I'm not. It.
oh.
I
Have you
don't need
seen
it.
any Dario Argento films, Raul? Because he loves to mess with eyes, specifically opera.
Yeah.
It'll really freak you
Oh,
out.
His movies
no.
really, yeah, his stuff really freaks me out with the eye stuff. You should check some out. They're
But
fun movies.
oh, I can find their fun. It'll just make me squirm. But like it is, it's part of that we were talking before. We're like taking that anxiety and bringing it into something that it's cool, and just like making it work. Like I hate
Yeah.
eye stuff. They stress me out. But I can grab from that stress and cherry pick specific things and being like, ooh, like very things that will make me freak out. I can put that in the episode. And unfortunately it's not an episode that will come out because it part of the world building. It's like there's multiple tapes. It's just the ones that get out into the YouTube are the ones that like people are able to see.
Yeah.
But
That's yeah.
yeah.
So if I was an analog horror director, I would
Mhm.
do a instructional video on how to properly sit through, when you go to the eye doctor, they make you
Yeah.
sit in that stupid thing and then it blows air in your eye. You're
Yeah,
like,
you know
ah!
it's
Yeah.
coming, and
Yes.
still you're
Yes.
like, ah!
Yes, but however, there's gonna be a twist when they show you how to properly like do that, right? And you take off your glasses and you're doing the whole thing. Instead of shooting eye, it's gonna shoot like something else and cause you to like have like your eyeballs to like fall out or something.
Oh.
And
Oh
and
yes.
then the video cuts out and you're like, oops.
Oop. Or it will be like a machine that like it has like little prongs and it's like eye contact, so it goes like touches your eye, it like massages it, and it goes
No.
like
Ah. Yeah, that
like
would be
your
that would
eyes are looking good
Like
and
the
round.
little
It's just
three,
like
like the machine that gets the toys, but it's getting
yes,
your
yes.
oh
Doesn't take your eye out,
no.
just
the
goes in to
claw.
like measure how round it is.
Oh no.
That
Yeah, I need Kat to come with me to my next doctor appointment because I need somebody to hold my hand through that blast of air. Ah, one time it took like 10 times and the nurse was sitting there like, "Can you just
Like,
sit
really? I'm gonna
Can you just
handcuff you.
sit still for a second? Can you just sit still, please?"
The
I'm
nurse
like,
pulls out
"I
duct tape.
can't.
mm-mm.
I can't. Just put me to sleep and then open my eyes and do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something. Novocaine. I don't know. Something.
Ugh. Yes, 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 yes. Oh.
That's so interesting. It's one other thing that kind of super bothers me personally because I just think it's lazy, but that's just my opinion. The evolution of jump scares. Let's talk a little bit about that. Analog
Ooh, yes.
horror is moving away from loud noises and more lingering towards dread.
Mhm.
When you're editing, Raul, how do you know when a shot has lingered just long enough to become unbearable?
I love this question because I deal with it a lot in Blue Horizons, where a lot of the uneasiness comes from just holding on a shot for too long, way too long. And there's specific moments that I specifically plan to be very uncomfortable, and I think my process has been just I will watch the shot and I have a natural instinct of when it should be done. So I will mark that of like, this is where I want instinctually, this is where I want it to be ending. Let's add like 4 more seconds to that and see how that feels. And then just play it back, and then just, I know where it's supposed to end, but then it keeps going. And then it's just like a play, it's like it's like maybe are 4 seconds enough? Maybe I want to add 2 more seconds. Maybe 6 seconds is too much, and maybe it's 5 seconds. So it's always, for me, for Blue Horizon, it's always a place where I feel uncomfortable watching for this long, um, because I want to cut at a specific point, and I'm not doing so, and it makes me anxious about myself. And it's like, just cut it, and I can. And then also getting some feedback from other people as well, watching them. I think that's really cool, showing them the like work in progress that we're doing, and then just instead of watching what they're watching, just watching them to see how they're reacting. That's also very helpful to kind of know when something is too long to the point where it becomes too boring, versus when it's like a little where it's just like hunting. We did that on episode 2, which was language. In episode 2, language, that's kind of how we end the episode, where we're just lingering on talk to Joy. You have like this really, really, really long, I think it's 45 seconds of just nothing. We're just pushing into a shot. And it feels very like unsettling. I think it creates the expectation that something will happen, because people are so trained to into like, if we're staring at something, something's going to jump out, and when it doesn't, it just feels incomplete, and it feels like, oh, nothing came. Well, now I feel more uneasy because nothing came. It's like I was watching the drama a few days ago, um, and I was squinching the whole time, just cringe. But it never resolved. So even after the movie, I was still like quelching, and I feel that's part of like lingering in something for too long. You just kind of like hold it, and it never gets released, and you're just like, ah.
It does kind of lose the momentum if you hold it for too long and you're like, and then you now you're suspended, your disbelief is suspended, right? But when you if you're
Mhm.
waiting too long, you're like, you kind of come back and then you lose that momentum. So it's good to have good pacing, and I can definitely I think you do a good job with the peer review, having your peers say what is too much, because you might be too critical of yourself and you're like, go, 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 go. But
Yes,
it's important for somebody else that isn't actively directing it or actively doing it or producing it to kind of give you feedback and saying, no, add like 3 more seconds or remove a second or whatever. The seconds are minuscule, but they matter in analog horror, definitely.
it is. And also with this, a lot of, you'll hear like that hiss, that we were talking about, that noise. Even though it makes it feel like it makes it feel real, and because it's not like it's just a static image and there's no sound, and you're just gonna get bored. It's that hiss that kind of keeps your mind engaged too. So it's just like you're waiting for something, and it's just like nothing happens, and then it just makes you feel like dread, just like that.
Yeah, we have a good example in the chat. The wooden door scene in Zombie is a perfect example of tension uh in editing. Yeah,
Mhm.
very
Yeah.
good. A very good scene and very uncanny editing.
Yes.
Love
The
it.
I love the scene from Hereditary, um, where I don't know if I don't want to spoil if anybody has not seen it, but there is a moment in a car, um, where I don't have you both seen it,
Yeah,
Hereditary?
I've seen it, but I'm not a fan. So if you
Oh,
spoil
okay.
it, I don't mind because you're helping people out. I mean, you're saving some time, in my
There
opinion.
is a moment. There
They're,
is a
they're
moment.
really good shots. I agree. I agree.
Yeah, there is a moment in the car after something happened, and we're just sitting on a shot of the brother looking through like the mirror, like the rear view mirror, and like it's just holding it doesn't cut away, and it's so like, ah, because you want to see what he's looking at, but you're not seeing it, and it's just like just holds on it for way too long. I love that. That was one of my favorite things that I remember about the movie.
That was
So cool.
definitely a good dread moment.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one more question about the handshake that I have for
Yeah.
you, Raul. Um, where was my question? Sorry, I wrote it on here. So the lady in the video, I believe her name was Joy, right? The character
Hmm.
Joy.
Hmm.
So she's essential to the handshake tape. Is she a victim of the corporation, a willing participant, or something entirely different?
I like to think that everybody who works at Blue Horizons, it's there for a reason. It's like that when I approach any person that it's in any of the Joes or any of the Joys, they're there. I will say that I always think about why would they be there to begin with at the company. Each person has a very specific reason why being at the company. Um, that is to say that like that. I guess I'll say it's not against their will. I'll say that it's not like they just. It's not like they're. It's not like abducting. It's not about. It's
It's
this.
not
It's
like
not
a
about.
victim, like they're
It's
just
not like abducting. Now, are they victims of the corporate world? That's a different. I think that's different. But at least are they? They're not. I wouldn't say they are kidnapped by like like the hand of God just picking them up of the streets and then placing them here. I'll say it is not that. Um, so everybody has a specific reason why being there. I know it's a little not answering your question properly, but
no, no. We can all be the victims of large corporations in
yes,
many different ways. We kind of
in
all are.
many
So
many different ways. I will say all the joys they're there are there for a reason. Um, they all they were not forced to start their training, but after that point, I don't
they might want to rethink their career
know.
choices.
Yes.
Luna, are you able to pull up Raul's Instagram? I thought it was so beautiful, and I had a
Oh, thank
question
you.
about it. It's very well conceptualized and intentional. I love how all the photos kind of come together. Is that something you planned from the beginning, or did you make some adjustments going forward?
Instagram kind of made me upset when they changed the aspect ratio of the photos because it kind of messed up every single picture I posted since when did I do it? It was in 2016, 10 years ago. Um, so I just wanted to point that out because that makes me upset every time I think about it. But I try. It's not like every single post. It's very. It's not like all the posts are planned in advance as a whole. More that they are planned together as like a set of three, right? The only thing that I try to keep consistent between blocks, it's the color scheme. So there there would be phases where like we're talking about dark blues and blacks, and then before then there was a phase of like I was thinking about more light blues with white, so it was a lot more neon and more bright. Before that there was a rose like color pink, so it's more about like the only thing I really think in advance in big chunks is color, but anything in between is just kind of whatever whatever feels
You're
right.
Oh,
going
I
through
love
your
that one.
phases, and I love how you even slowly go from one color to the next. You kinda
Thank you.
it's beautiful.
That's really, yeah,
And
that's
on your
really a
phones,
unique.
guys, if you look at it, it's just gonna have those 3 panes, it's not gonna have the 5, so it'll make more sense.
Yeah, yeah. On my computer that I'm sharing, I can't share my phone. I don't
No, all
have that
good, all good.
capability yet. But you guys get a sense of what he's going for right here. Will you fight? I don't know. Will
That's part of
Somebody
I
needs to.
I make music as well. So that's
oh
a yeah, so a lot of my Instagram and all of that, it's a lot more related to music. Like on the little blobs there, that it says like cyan, blue, and purple, and the little rose. Like those are specific albums that I did. So
Nice.
um,
nice.
a lot of the music, a lot of the music that gets in Blue Horizons now, it's stuff I composed. I have a friend also that they're great, Morgan, who also has done uh, amazing 90 inspired corporate music that we added into it. There's we also have some actual legit 90s stock songs that we use throughout of it, but I'm going to say like 70% of the music all through Blue Horizons is something that I've composed for it.
Wow.
Nice, nice. And you're so talented, Raul. I wanted to ask you as well, and that reminds me, you do so many things, so many different types of things. Let's say we lived in a world where money wasn't an issue, like Star Trek world. Money's not an issue, and you're only able to pick one particular job. What would that be?
If ooh, if money's not an issue and I could just pick the one job that I could do forever. Ooh, I mean, I'm going to. I think for me the obvious answer is to do what I do now. Because I really enjoy what I do. I love I love making shorts. So, but I'm going to put that aside into like something else. Um, what would I do if I would love to do animations like full
Nice.
time, like motion graphics. I really enjoy doing motion graphics. That Plan C. Uh, Probably a therapist. I'll do that. Yeah.
Nice.
I was supposed to have a psychology what's that called? Like when you have your degree and you have a secondary degree. What's that? I forget what's that called. It's
Your minor. You have
your
your
minor,
major and
yes.
your minor.
Thank you. Yes. I was supposed to have a psychology minor. That was like the plan. That was like if I ever can make it in film, I will become a therapist.
Nice.
Um, but I just never pursued it. My mom is a therapist, so
Nice.
just started psychology. So
Yeah, I wanted to
yeah,
do that too until I found out how much school was involved. I was like, I can barely afford anything. No way, that's not happening.
I like listen. I like listening to people. I think that's what I think that's what I like about it. I really enjoy listening to people, um, and their stories. I think it's very fun. I think because I think everyone has a movie in their heads about their lives, and I think I think everybody is like right that what their experience is a movie. Um, I think sometimes you'll find that people try to make their lives into a movie and it doesn't work. But that's I think it's because there's a lot of missing context of why their life feel so intense like a movie and so like grandiose. Um, and I like that. I think that's cool. I think getting to know people's context about their lives and getting to know them and getting to just hear their stories is really really cool.
I
Because
love
I only have my own experience and it's just cool to I'm trapped on this brain. I'm just trapped here, so it's just cool to everybody has gone through something so different and it's just cool to listen.
absolutely. I love that. I mean, we are our experiences, and I love that you're interested in origin stories. That's and sometimes we're too close to the content. That's why if we try to make a movie about it, it wouldn't work. Like sometimes, like I'm looking at a friend's situation, I'm like, this is an easy fix. This is what you should do. But then when it comes to my own situation, I'm like, it's like, why can't I
Yeah.
take my own advice?
Yes. 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 Yes.
That's true. That's true. You can be a little more subjective
Mm-hmm.
as well. Um, my final question for you,
Mm-hmm.
Raul, and that is going to be, yeah, my final question. So let's talk a little bit about if Blue Horizons were to send us a tape today about Delight and Fright, what would be the first warning on the screen?
Ooh, I'll be the first warning on the screen if if Blue Horizons were to send a tape.
Yes.
I would probably say it will have to be related to audio. Something about steer away from your aux cable.
Oh.
Do not
Oh no! Where does it lead? Ah!
do not follow the aux cable. I think that would be it. Do not follow the aux cable.
Nice, nice.
Hang on.
It doesn't matter where it goes. It does no matter because you know it's not plugging into the computer. Just don't follow it.
Oh, okay. I will not follow it. Oh, where
Don't
does
get
it
stuck into the
lead?
machine.
That would be something. Well, thank you. That was fun. That was quite fun.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me so much. This is so
Is there
fun.
anything else you wanted to share with everyone where they can find you?
They can find me online. They'll figure it out.
Make them
Yes,
hunt
I'm
for
there.
it. Nice. I like
No,
that. I like that.
it's you can. There is my website. Thank you. It's there. I basically put everything. There are all my socials.
Right.
But if you're interested in Blue Horizons, if you like animal horror, um, feel free to go and watch Blue Horizons Inc. on YouTube. It's really I have a lot of fun making it. It's one of the things that I do just to have fun. Um, and it's gonna sound weird, but it's Blue Horizons. I would say is the most authentic when I've ever felt making something. Um, but yeah, feel free. If you don't like it, that's fine. That's okay too. You don't have to like it.
Just give it a try.
Yes.
Give it a
And
try.
guys,
You know,
while you're subscribing to Blue Horizons Inc. on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to us as well. You'll be
Mhm.
entered into a drawing to win a autographed photo from the one and only Elvira. So don't forget to do that as well. And what do we got coming up next week, Luna? I see bad on her calendar.
Yeah, bad. No good. Yeah, so next week we have a Bad Kids production and they will be discussing on tax day. Maybe that's why I named it Bad. Just kidding. It's a Bad Kids production and they will be talking about everything they're producing, all the horror that's going on at Bad Kids production, and we cannot wait to have them on the show and discuss everything, all the nitty and gritty going on at Bad Kids production.
And it has been a pleasure, Raul. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week and weekend.
Thank you.
And you want to show Raul how we say goodbye, Luna?
So we are both huge Cthulhu fans.
Ooh.
I might have to say huge. So we have to pay tribute to the elder god by saying bye with the tentacle action. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Don't get caught in the TV or VHS.
Yes.
We'll try not to.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to thank you for listening to Delight and Fright with your hosts, Luna and Cat, a podcast for outcasts.